Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time, all around. Welcome. I'm Carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I've been selling as a Fiverr Pro verified copywriter for about the past 7 years now. And in today's Freelance Friday video, I'm going to be talking about some video tips for your Fiverr gig videos. Please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have a comment or a question that you would like to have addressed in a future Freelance Friday video, please be sure to comment that down below. So like all of everything that's on my channel, everything is based on my own personal experience and kind of just looking at my own business as a model. I'm honestly just making all of this up as I go along. So before I dive into the actual video tips, I just want to make a quick case for kind of my strategy of why I think it's really important to put yourself and your own face and personality out there as a solo freelancer. Trust is just like a huge part of digital collaboration. There are a lot of people and brands and products pretending to be something that they're not. And I think that the more transparent and honest and genuine and authentic and open, I think that that just creates so much more confidence. The human connection. People want to look at your picture, your username, your gig videos, and they want to be able to feel like you are in the room with them. A lot of people might not be comfortable putting their own face out there, whether that's for your own, privacy and digital safety, or if you feel like people might judge you based on your appearance instead of the work that you're delivering at the end. And I know that I have heaping amounts of privilege. And also as a writer, I know that I have a lot of privilege that people may trust my writing skills more because I am American. I clearly speak with a West Coast accent. Being able to speak in my gig videos and portray that, not having an accent, not English being my second language, those again are some privilege that I have. But again, I think at the end of the day, based on my own experience, which could be completely flawed, very possible, I think that the transparency of putting yourself out there fully, genuinely, authentically will be more of a positive for you just because you are on a completely different tier than if you are competing against someone else who just has like a faceless logo and a name that's not aligned with you. Okay, so let's move on to actual strategies. First, I'm just gonna start by playing through one of my own gig videos that's currently up on my profile, just so you can see an example of what I've done. And then I'm gonna talk about kind of the strategy of the script itself that I wrote, and also just the mechanics and fundamentals of how I have recorded it. So let's do that. Super sorry in advance for the quality of this screenshot. I thought that I had the video file still, but apparently that was on the hard drive that got destroyed a little bit ago. So sorry.
Hi, I'm Carrie, a top-rated seller here on Fiverr.com, and I offer website copywriting exclusively through my Fiverr Verified Pro gig. In this modern age of business, your website is more than just a resource for visitors to gather information. It's often the only time that they have the opportunity to read about your core values and brand story. Share the unique details and selling points that set you apart. Whether you offer services or products, I can create engaging website content that tells a story and truly connects with your potential buyers. I write with a conversational tone that brings details to life and resonates with your target audience. Send me a message or purchase a package to get started. I look forward to working with you soon, exclusively on Fiverr.
All right, so the script. I do think that scripting your own video is really important just because it allows you to make sure that you are saying everything as clearly and concisely as you can. You're not rambling like I do in all these videos. I always start by introducing who I am and my accolades. Technically, I was actually looking at a Fiverr help page for gig videos, and I will include the link to that in the description below. And I don't know if this was true years ago or if this has been a recent update. It says you technically cannot use Fiverr seller badges or rating stars. I had known you couldn't include a picture of a badge, but I didn't know you couldn't reference a badge. And that makes sense because the badges and your seller levels are not permanent. So I don't know if I'm technically breaking that rule, if Fiverr's gonna come for me or not. I personally say I'm a top-rated seller, and then I reinforce the fact that those are pro verified gigs. And that's one of my top selling points is I've been vetted by Fiverr. Check out my pro versus non-pro comparison video if you're interested in that. I have a very confident, self-assured kind of self-definition of who I am. Then you want to define what you actually do, and I try to do that as concisely as possible. So in this case, I am defining that it is website content with a conversational tone of voice. I also like to take an opportunity in the gig video to answer like one common question. One for website content is people often ask, is it just for service-based companies? Is it just for brands that sell products, and so I say it's for products and services, which kind of answers that very basic fundamental question. Another tip for the script is to make sure that it is focused on the actual service and not your packages. These videos are a pain in the butt to make. They take me like 3 days of work time to get all of the scripting and filming and editing and uploading and like making sure it's all right. It's a lot of work. And so I want to make sure that it lasts for a long time, at least a year. And usually I have it up for like a year and a half-ish is when I change everything up. Don't reference specific package prices. I don't even list the exact website pages that I write for because I want the flexibility to tweak my services over time and let the video be true no matter what. And then I like to finish with a little call to action. We've got that suggested next steps. Send me a message or purchase a package to get started. I don't know if it's still required. I think back in the day it was. You had to actually say in your video that it's exclusively on Fiverr. I like to end them that way and just kind of reinforce where I'm at and that I'm proud to be working in this platform. Go Fiverr. All right, now on to the how. I do want my video to be the same high level of quality that will match the kind of professional image that I'm putting out there for myself. And I am showing an example of who I am and what kind of like approach I take to my business. Even if you don't have a professional setup like I do, I think that you can still do a good job. In that case, I had set up my desk to look extra cute. I wanted it to look like homey and like I was in an office ready to write. Just make sure that the quality that you're putting out there is good. If you don't have a nice backdrop, just use a blank wall. Just make sure you're really aware of the sound quality and the lighting quality because those two things, it's just so hard to do any kind of editing, I think, to clean those up. Make sure that it's the right length. Since I checked, 10 minutes ago, it's going to be a max of 75 seconds. As you can see in my example, that capped out less than a minute. It needs to be short enough that people actually watch the whole way through and they feel like they're getting some information without being board. Also make sure that you're only using things that you actually have access to or that you have created. So public domain stuff, things you've actually paid for commercial licenses for. As much as possible, I like to create my own stuff. I'm a very DIY kind of person, so just keep an eye on that because that's part of Fiverr's terms of service. Be careful, follow the rules. I like to include a thumbnail or my actual like gig image thumbnail in the video. I do it at the end in this case. Different parts of the site pull from different pictures. When you make custom offers for people, it will pull up the gig image thumbnail for that. But when they're searching in search, it'll actually show the thumbnail for the video. And so depending on where you're at in the site, different things show up with different pictures, and I want them to be the same in both places. So in order to do that, I just make sure to include the actual gig image in the video. That way I can set that as the preview and they look identical. I also have to make it a smaller size. I couldn't tell you the exact dimensions. This is just trial and error. You'll see how it crops differently for, again, the video thumbnail versus the actual image. I'm being so generic here and it's gonna change, I'm sure. But just do trial and error. Make sure you like how it looks in those different settings and just explore and try it different ways. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just rambling. So let's move on to the next point. Talk clearly. I did not do a fantastic job of that. I personally use a teleprompter when I do those videos. Not these ones right now, I'm just talking. Even though I used a teleprompter, you can so easily memorize your own script. It's called a parrot teleprompter, and it just clips your phone in and then reflects it, and it slides onto my camera. Works great. That allowed me to save a lot of time just by uploading the scripts through my phone and reading it off the teleprompter and not having to do a million takes of saying something wrong. I definitely should have re-recorded that with a little bit less mumbling, but I didn't, so just be better than me. All right, last two. We're coming up to the end, I promise. Making sure that you have a confidence and clarity, just like being very direct and saying it as it is, because that's exactly what you offer and you're very proud of that and just ready to go. I think that positive energy is good too, but you also want to be really genuine. So I could talk like this and I could say that I'm going to do the best article for you ever. I don't know, that's just not how I talk, so I think it sounds really ridiculous. Transparency, genuine connection, those are the words that I'm looking to achieve here. And lastly, I think it's so important to make sure that everything matches. I personally do complete brand refreshes for myself about every 1.5 years or so. I do that just when I feel like the image that I'm portraying to the world doesn't quite match the way I want to be perceived. I like to make sure that all of my gig videos match, that I do them all at the same time. You'll also notice that I have a matching profile picture, and I also did those like thumbnail pictures of me posing all at the same time. Big task for myself over the course of like 3 days to get all of that done and uploaded. But now everything on my profile looks like Carrieblogger. You can see me on any of those places. You know exactly who I am. I look like me, and you can't possibly think that I'm not me because there are so many gosh darn pictures and videos of me fully focused on serving my clients. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed or liked this video yet, please do. And if you're still watching, of course, you know that you are my hero. Thank you so much for being here. And I think that's it. Go make a gig video. Make it awesome. Let's get back to work.